The American government just pulled the trigger on the economy, and they're actually going to use the energy markets to reset a system, but not in the way that retail investors think so. A lot of retail investors think that there's going to be this system-wide reset, and they're not going to be able because they're not going to be able to pay their mortgages or their bills because the economy's tanking, that for some crazy reason, some white knight that put a bunch of money in a bank account for them. This really is a feeling amongst a lot of humans. Type 1, if you know what I'm talking about. That all their bills are just going to be paid off. What is happening right now in the markets is going to shock the markets in the next 1 to 2 weeks. In the middle of the night, the Dow Jones futures were down something like almost 800 points. It might have been over 800. And a lot of value investors that think they're crushing it went in and bought, and they're about to get a massive shock. You see, the energy markets are collapsing right now. They're because the price is going up. Right now, the price of oil is only up, let's see, as of right now, 6.5%. Not much. But what you need to look at is natural gas. LNG exports have just been halted by certain countries. I'm looking for that story right now. Here we go. Qatar halts LNG output, shaking global energy markets. You see, the government's going to be able to use, hey, we went in to attack Iran to do a regime change because all these different reasons. And what they're highlighting is all of the things that Iran is attacking right now. And energy's not going up because of us. Energy's going up because they're doing stuff. And what's going to happen in the real economy is pretty soon, people are going to the news will start spreading that economic activity in America is slowly grinding to a halt because of the cost of gas. This is happening just as spring is about to emerge. And it's interesting because throughout history, the history of gasoline, oil, every time oil starts to rise normally during the springtime and continually into summer, because that's when people do things. It's going to be a much more drastic rise now that we have issues with the Strait of Hormuz. All of the countries over there bomb each other. I believe you're going to see attacks on American soil, sleeper cells, and you are going to see absolute chaos. This is what we've been preparing for years. An event that is outside of all of our abilities to do something about it rather than be prepared. And you're going to see where cash is still king during a downturn. A lot of people are about to race into this and try and buy up a dip, what they think is a dip, which is actually a longer term downturn. The stock market is going to be hit. The Dow is only down 365. Oh, I got to remind you. Tomorrow is the last day for the pre-filming discount of the Ninja 9. If you want to learn how to invest a specific way, a system I put together over almost 2 decades, trial and error, where you won't lose anymore. And this is the perfect example of where you don't want to be putting all of your money, all of your eggs into one basket. I would highly suggest you take a look at that. Right now, silver was ripping higher, right? And if you look at what just happened in the silver markets, I'm just going to pull a day. This is volatility. Look at this. I'm not telling you not to go buy silver, right? There you go. Look, up there, mid 90s, all of a sudden, boom. It actually went below 89. Now it's trading around 90, right? Let's look at a 5-day chart. This looks like, that's not bad, right? It's funny. We always pull back throughout history, and we look at, times like this, we go, well, look, it's going up. Sure, it went up here and dropped, but it's going up again. And then you look, man, you look at times like this chart and you think, yeah, this is awesome. Look at it, it's way up here. But you don't realize how many people lost money there and how many people lost money in the early 80s there. Those are just blips on the screen. But that was people's livelihood. People put all their money into one basket back then in silver. You look at gold, it's the same thing. Crypto right now, it's up. Look, it's up 2.5%. You'll see it's going to go down. And it's because everything hinges on the stock market. That's the most important thing. Why? Because there is more money in the stock market than any of these asset classes. And sure, you could sit there all day long and say, well, gold is, this percentage of assets, the money it all depends on where retail is. Institutions and the big money have already sold all of their positions to you. If you're invested in stocks, if you're invested in crypto, guess what? If you're invested in gold and silver. I get to talk to some of these people. I get sworn to secrecy because if I ever let it out, I can't keep getting great information that backs up my thesis. This is why it's so vital that retail investors, the average person like myself, like you, learn the signs of when you see the institutions selling to the public so that you're not part of the Beanie Baby phase or the tulip mania. Did you know that there was such thing as an emu mania? Guys, type 1 if you knew this. Did you know that there was an emu mania? I think it happened in the late 70s where the price of emus went up. Hold on. I got to get you this. I'm just going to put mania and see what comes up. Can't pull it up. Anyway, there's this time when emus, all of a sudden they thought they were they're going to be extinct, and the price of emus just went crazy. The point being is that every civilization goes through this. Every economic cycle has something in this. You just saw a Pokemon card sell for $15 million because it was Jake Paul that sold it. Woo! But hey, we saw NFTs do this in the last cycle. Type yes or no if you understand that there are big cycles, but then there are extremes inside of these cycles. And all we're doing is we're getting ready to take advantage of, and people need to stop looking at these little cycles. Like I say, hey, I see XRP going down. Hey, good, throw this up there, up or down. Do you think XRP is going to go up or down drastically over the next 6 months? I'm curious what you think, because a lot of people here own it, right? I've always got that little bit that I set aside from selling my house. I got to go find that. But anyway, my point being is that when you understand this, it doesn't matter what happened the next day. You know how many crazy, they're foolish comments. They are, because fools talk about things that they really don't know anything about. They just talk out of emotion, right? And the next day I'll see a video and XRP's up 2% and they'll go, yeah, you're totally wrong. Look, it's up. You're just mad because you sold it. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. For those people, do you know what I mean? And hey, just I'm getting ready to severely limit how many videos I put out on this. It's time, like I talk about to everyone on this channel, it's time to pivot. And if you're not ready to pivot, you can get in a lot of trouble. I started liquidating my gold and silver stocks this week. Stuff that had gone up 10, 15 times since I bought them a couple of years ago. And I'm liquidating. I'm doing exactly what I said. And it's interesting because I think, you'll probably see a little bit more of a rise. Silver can get another 100, 120 bucks. Should you run out and buy physical? I wouldn't. Why? It's harder to sell. You want to be able to pivot. Taxes are more expensive on that stuff. Taxes are darn near double if you own physical as opposed to if you own paper. None of the silver community will tell you that. I just want you to use their link. I want to educate. I want to show people the difference of being a retail investor or a institutional investor. I highly suggest if you've ever watched anything from me, and I'm sincerely saying this. If you've ever watched any video and you've gotten some nuggets of info and you're like, hey, that's some good info, I like that. Or you're like, hey, I did what he said and I made some money. I think to everyone that implements the Ninja 9 investment program system, it's a system of capital allocation and capital rotation. You will never lose again, ever, ever, ever. And your mind is going to be so full of winning, it's hard to explain. It's why I'm such a contrarian, why I seem like I'm always doing the opposite of the crowd. It's because the crowd that I'm speaking to usually is retail investors, people that always seem to lose because, and I was a part of this a long time ago. So you're always buying at the wrong time. You buy and then the thing goes down, and then you sell and you try to recover that money and you do it again and you keep repeating that cycle. This is where I am so passionate. And this is the time to learn this system, the Ninja 9, because you are about to experience in the next few weeks volatility that could shake some people to their core. And I honestly believe that the stock market's only got about 25% downside coming, not in the next few weeks, but the downturn that's already started. I know on a percentage basis, look, the Dow Jones is pretty much at all-time highs. Let me pull it up real quick and show you. What's important to note about that is that it is such a bubble right now that the mainstream is talking about how the Dow Jones, and look, it's only down 165. Shoot, oil's exploding, and Wall Street traders don't care about what that's going to do to Main Street and how it's going to crush the average person. Look, you look at the stock market. Let me pull this down. Look at this insane chart. This goes back to 1982. You're like, Ninja, we're good. 1982, look at that. Starting down here at 1982, and look at it. It always goes up. What you don't realize is how many jobs and money was lost there. People don't get it. All it's got to do is go from 48.8, where it is right now, down to 40, and you watch how many companies lay people off. You're going to see it. It's going to be huge. How many more mortgages aren't paid? How many banks take back those homes? How many repossessed cars happen? Just from it going from almost 50,000 Dow to 40. You watch what happens. It's going to be interesting. And then you watch people like, hopefully you're not watching me getting all excited like my XRP videos. I'm like, hey, I just bought all my XRP back. Remember when I said sell? And everyone's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, I just bought it all back for half. And then the same day sold it for 28% gain. I'm about to do it again. Hopefully you're not on the sidelines, but you're like, I've got the cash because I listened and I did it. Oh man, being a sniper when it comes to this stuff is actually paying off rather than hodling, which is a term that institutions made. Diamond hands, a phrase that institutions made while they're laughing at people. Type 10 if you agree and it pisses you off that institutions laugh at the retail investors when they dump on them. Look at China just dumped, shorted like crazy the silver market while they're bidding it up, and they laughed. Even went after me because I called them out. But they know recently, like no one's listening to this guy. No, there's a few. Type 100 if you're listening and you're ready to take charge and you know that cash is not trash because you're an investor, not a speculator. The number 100 right now is, I believe, the most important place you need to be. I'm an investor, not a speculator. Investors understand the value of cash. Cash is not trash. The guy telling you that wants to sell you a product. I want to sell you a product. My product's going to help you change the way you allocate capital for the rest of your life. And you're going to go from never having the right timing to always absolutely crushing it and not knowing what to do because you're always winning. I know it sounds crazy, but it's more stressful than losing. All right. With that being said, the link's down below. Sale ends tomorrow. And I can't wait. All of the new students that are piling on, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody that keeps putting out the message of the money mindset course that's changing. I am shocked. When I filmed it, something came over me, and it's not me. It's not me. Thank you, Lord, for changing people's mindsets. All right, with that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.